Good evening, everybody. This is me. I don't need to introduce myself because you're on my page, so you already know who I am. I am coming to you with day 9 of the Facebook Live challenge, and I got to tell you, even though I was dreading it at first, I've kind of been looking forward to getting on and chatting with you guys. I don't think I'm going to do the everyday frequency after I finish the challenge. So we'll just see. But today on the Facebook page, and I have the link to the Facebook page in the post, I was talking about the mind. Hey, Antonio, you're so funny. I was talking about the mind and how you guard your mind is just so important. How you regard your thoughts is so important. To the person that's diligent about their mind, the mind is a wonderful tool. To the person that's not, it is his or her own worst enemy. And I saw a post that made me want to kind of go off topic and talk about forgiveness because someone that I know, and the names are withheld to protect the innocent and the guilty, was posting today about the fact that someone should definitely forgive them. They're wrong to not forgive them. And that was the dialogue. Now, the Bible is very clear that in order to be forgiven, we need to forgive. That is a fact. Forgiveness is right to do, and we should strive to forgive everyone that has done any wrong to us, and we should try to do that as quickly as possible. I'll have to add that when there is a severe offense sometimes, depending on the relationship of the person who made the offense sometimes, and depending on how many times that person has been offended, forgiveness can be a process. I remember getting saved, and when I read that in order to be forgiven, I needed to forgive, I was so quick to forgive everything. Anything anybody did to me, it was like, nope, you are forgiven because I want to be forgiven. Whatever you did to me, I would let people do things to me over and over again, and I granted that forgiveness and I took them right back because I thought that was the mark that showed I have forgiven. If I take you right back, that means I forgave you, and I don't need to tell you how that worked out in my life. I don't think I was wrong to forgive, but what I had to grow to learn is that forgiveness and reconciliation are two different things. But before I touch on that, I want to go back to that Facebook post where this person was saying that they have a right to be forgiven and God forgives us. And they're speaking as the offender. First of all, in order for you, absolutely, if anything's done, you have an obligation to strive to forgive. But as the offender, you should be humble and gracious to the person that you've offended to show that you get it. Because forgiveness was never meant to be demanded. We don't go to God saying, God, you better forgive me because you're a forgiving God and your word said you forgive, so you better forgive me. Like, how absurd is that? The Bible says that God resists the proud, but he gives grace to the humble. So when you have offended somebody, you should be gracious because number one, your posture when you've offended them shows that you get it. Like when you really get that you've hurt someone, you don't even demand an apology. You're saying, you know what? I shouldn't even ask this because I was wrong. And I would be just if you never spoke to me again. I get it. I get that I hurt you, but I really just want you to know I'm sorry. Would you please forgive me? That kind of apology is hard to turn down. But when people say, well, I'm sorry, but you shouldn't have. And, really, it wasn't even that bad. I don't even know why you tripping. That's not an apology. Now, for the person that's been wronged, you don't forgive for them. You forgive for you. But to the offenders, like, if you really want to be forgiven, just get some humility and be honest with people, own what you did. And I think it will make the way go a whole lot smoother. Now for that reconciliation piece. You can forgive anyone, anything, because it is true. Forgiveness releases it from your heart. Forgiveness releases what happens to that person up to God. Forgiveness gets rid of the need for vengeance. Forgiveness cuts the tie between you and that person who's offended you. Forgiveness really does free you. Reconciliation, whole different thing. Forgiveness takes one, reconciliation takes two. You do not have to invite anyone back in your life simply because you have forgiven them. If they have shown you that they're not trustworthy, if you can't be vulnerable with this person again, if you even choose not to go there with this person again, that is your right and your choice. And it's better to be honest and say, hey, I'm just not going to be able to roll with you anymore, rather than let them back in and then you talk about them like, I don't know why she keep coming around. I don't know why he keep coming around. They know what they did. They know we're not cool. That keeps you stuck, and it can make you slip back into unforgiveness. I'll tell you a very personal story, and I'm going to leave out the details, but I want to let you know that in my early 20s, I betrayed a friend. I make no excuses about it. Matter of fact, I was hoping that this friend would never know what I did. Fast forward 20 years, we were together in a public place, and I'm thinking, uh-oh, this friend is here. I wonder if she knows. Well, it turns out she did. So what I did, because I had come to Christ and I had heard all these great stories of forgiveness, I just knew I would tell her, I'm a different person, girl. I know the Lord now. I'm sorry and whatever. She said, I don't really care about all that. What you did was bad, and I don't know if I forgive you. And instead of me saying, who are you not to forgive me? First of all, I was so upset because I really was hoping she didn't know. All I could do was apologize to her and assure her that I was a different person. And I pray that one day she would forgive me and understand that I was young. I have made no excuses. I wish I was the me I am now back then, but I took it. After we talked, and it was real ugly, I was at work, I had to leave my desk, I'm doing an ugly cry, because I really felt badly. Number one, that she knew, and then number two, she really wasn't willing to help me out with this. But we talked back and forth, and I think by the fact that I did not try to be combative, I told her she was absolutely right. By the end of our email, because we were going back and forth on email, because back then, I don't even know if we had text messages, but we were going back and forth through email. And by the end of the email, she said, I get it. I believe you're probably sincere. And you know what? I appreciate this conversation. But I'm not ready. I don't know if I ever will be. But I have decided that friends don't do what you did to me. So we'll never be friends again. She taught me a valuable lesson in that moment, because some opportunities will never come around again. And when you mistreat people, they may forgive you, but you'll never get the opportunity again with them. You might get the opportunity to go be a better friend to somebody else. You might get the opportunity to pay it forward and say, I'll never do that thing again. But sometimes what a person is saying when they won't reconcile with you is that, you know what, dude, what you did was just not okay. And that is okay, because everybody gets to choose. Reconciliation is a choice. And I said it last night. The Bible says, how can two walk together except they agree? So be clear that sometimes people may have forgiven you, but they've just decided you're shady and they're not going to get close enough to find out again. And so when she would not be my friend again, what I realized that my forgiveness or my wanting her to forgive me was me wanting it for me. I wanted her to say, it's all good, so that I could be a good person. And I could say, there's nobody in the world that has a bad image of me. It was very me focused. Because when I think about what I did to her, I probably would not trust me either. And so that lesson taught me very clearly, sometimes you just don't get a second chance. We sing it, love the song. He is a God of a second chance. Hezekiah made a hit when he made that one, but he is. Sometimes people won't forgive you. Sometimes jobs won't forgive you. Sometimes you don't get a do-over in that situation. So what it should tell you, instead of going around acting like your victim has wronged you because they don't want to take you back, or your victim is so closed-minded because they don't want to roll with you anymore, maybe what we should be saying is, I'll go forward and live so that I don't miss another opportunity. I'll do something better. I'll be such a great person that when they see me, they know that situation changed my life. And maybe they'll forgive you. Maybe they'll let you back in. But let's not think that just because God forgives us, that anyone owes us forgiveness, and they surely don't owe us reconciliation. And I don't know who that's for. I know I've had to come to understand that, because I really thought that I didn't get to control who gets to be in my life. But really, if you want to keep your peace, if you want to keep confusion down, some people just don't get a do-over. You can forgive them and say, hey, try it with another person. But let's just decide that when we have that relationship, when we have that person, when we have that opportunity, we're going to make the best of it the first time. And not to say that we have to have these high standards where we don't let people make mistakes and we're not extending grace and we're not showing mercy. But some things we can't play around with. And when it comes to our peace, when it comes to our emotional health, when it comes to our emotional well-being, if we're going to have these open minds that are open to love, we can't go through life wondering if the people that are for us are going to stab us in our back. And sometimes the way to do that is get rid of the backstabbers that's in your circle. So I hope this message has helped someone tonight. It wasn't a feel-good kind of topic, but it just needs to be said that if you want to have quality relationships in your life, you got to honor them. And when you don't, you got to square up, and you got to say, I'm sorry, and you got to make amends. There is a part of forgiveness when you have wronged someone that you have to make amends. You have to show them that you're sorry. You have to show them that you're worth a second chance. You have to prove that they should try you again, or show them that you are different. So sometimes we want to put all the burden of responsibility on the victim or the person that we've offended, when there is a burden of responsibility for the perpetrator as well. So this has been Christine Norman with Life 365. That's LYFE, for living your faith every day. And I truly believe that faith is not just for Sundays. Faith is for every day. And if we're going to live our faith, we got to live it when we're in these relationships. We got to live it in difficult situations. We got to walk it out. It's hard to reconcile when no, Bobby, that is so true. If you really want to be re-injured, take it from me. Take someone back. Bobby said that it's hard to reconcile when the offender really doesn't accept that they've done anything. And to me, what I say to that is, if you don't even know what you've done, what kind of guarantee do I have that things are going to be different if I let you back in? You've got to know. And you got to stop asking, what did I do? I need adults that know their own behavior. Like little kids know, like, mommy, I pulled so-and-so's hair and I know I shouldn't have. Like, this isn't rocket science. So yeah, sometimes you can't accept these people back when they don't know why they do what they do. They don't know what they did. The best thing you can do is love them from a distance. Because remember, the greatest love is our love for God and our love for ourselves. You love your neighbor as you love yourself. So you have to love and protect yourself so that you are open to love others. So thank you guys for joining me. Until next time, go out and be great and live your faith. Take care.